Are you on your fat loss journey and you're trying your best to make a difference at every bite? You're trying to make sure you have protein at every single meal. You're out here in the grocery store reading labels that you had never even read before, only to find out that most of the things that you love is high in sugar and sodium, especially like your jams, dips, and salsas. Well, if you're looking for a healthier alternative that's high protein, honey, that's full of flavor, then you're in luck, because in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 of my favorite jams, dips, and salsas that's high protein, honey, but taste like the real deal. Stay tuned. Hey, good people, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Belinda J. Honey, having a little moment, but we ain't cutting it. I don't have time to cut it. You already see that it's hair wash day. I didn't have time to finish it, so honey, I'm just giving y'all the Beyonce fan look today. But anyway, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, welcome. I am Belinda J., a 55-year-old everyday woman who set out on a journey to lose that perimenopausal belly fat, and I was able to do it in a very short period of time by increasing my protein and making a lot of food swaps. So that is what this channel is about, and as I mentioned to you in the intro, today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 of the easiest, peasiest, most delicious jam, sauce, dip that you have ever had that's going to help move the needle toward you meeting your protein goals. I'm trying to think, is there anything else that I need to let y'all know about today? I'm sure it'll come to me, but while I fan, let's go ahead and dive right into the number 1 dip, sauce, and jam. Or what's it going to be? Jam, dip, sauce? Something, honey. Just keep watching while I keep fanning. So first up on our sauce, dip, jam list is going to be one of the favorite dips that you order all time when you're snacking on your veggies and your hot wings, and it is going to require us to use some Greek yogurt. Now, this is my first time using the Greek yogurt from Costco that I bought since I became a member, so I'm hoping it's going to be pretty good, but we're going to be using this. And if you guess making ranch dip, then you were right. As you can see, I've already opened this up because I've already made some before. So if you've ever made ranch dip using this Hidden Valley ranch seasoning packet, then the majority of people will make it using sour cream. And if they're going to be using like making some kind of mayonnaise, then they'll use buttermilk and then just stir in this pack. But what we're going to be doing in order to make it high protein, instead of using sour cream, we're going to be using this Greek yogurt. I'm going to be making a small batch. I usually make ranch dressing, like I said, if I'm making some baked wings in the air fryer or just wanting to snack on some veggies. And Greek yogurt should always be a staple in your fat loss journey pantry, along with this pack here. So whenever you get that urge to have some kind of ranch dip, it's already there. So all I'm going to do here is just put in a scoop. You know, I got someone commented on the video one time. They were saying that I wasn't telling my audience how to measure, but honey, I think if you over 40, then you know how much you want, and you know how to ad lib on the measurement. So you don't need me to say, take 1 teaspoon of this. Now, other things I will do that, but for this little dip, this is going to be a heavy teaspoon, or more like a tablespoon. Put it right in there because I'm just making enough to eat right now, to snack on. But of course, if I was making it for a party or something, I would add more. And all you have to do is just like that, add in however much ranch dressing that you want and stir. What else is there? Nothing. You can add lemon juice if you want. Add a little bit more ranch seasoning if you want. But honey, this is it for our dip sauce jam number 1. Dang, y'all got back here quick. As you can see, this little, I am acting up today. This little dip is so good, so easy. And yes, I am eating a chicken nugget because guess what? It's about progress, not perfection. And you probably want to know, I got a lot going on. I'm not cutting it. I'm hot. I'm hungry. My hair's a mess, but we don't care. You probably want to know what I am eating as far as this chicken nugget is concerned. I'm going to put it on the screen, but it is this big bag that I had gotten from Costco that was $15.99 when we were buying the regular one at Wegmans. It was like $11 for a bag smaller than this. Now, let me just tell you about the ingredients. So it only has 6 grams of fat. The sodium is extremely high, 780 milligrams for 2 pieces. But I don't eat chicken nuggets every day. And I watch my sodium intake. So when I want a nugget, I'm going to eat a nugget. And I'm eating this one because I can read all of the ingredients. Boneless, skinless chicken breast, seasoning, salt, paprika, spice extracts, rice starch, breaded with wheat flour, sugar, salt, and spices. Now, yes, I am gluten intolerant, but I can tolerate small amounts of gluten. So what that means is before I found out I was gluten intolerant, I was eating gluten-filled foods at breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day. But since now I'm aware of what gluten is, I'm very mindful of when I have a little bit. So a little bit in this little bag of, or in this little single serving of chicken nuggets is not going to harm me. So, but yeah, those are the nuggets that I eat. Now that I've kind of got my composure and my professionalism back, let's move on to dip sauce. What are we saying this is? The dip, the sauce. Oh, and the jam. So let's move on to number 2. I got to pull it together. Up next is for all of you Thai food fans. We're going to be making a very high protein Thai peanut sauce. Now these are all of the ingredients that we're going to need. I have some ground ginger, some sesame seeds, I have some low sodium or reduced sodium soy sauce, I have some rice vinegar, and your heat of choice if you like sriracha and you have that in your pantry, or if you have red pepper flakes, one or the other will do. Now, typically this recipe calls for peanut butter, but peanut butter is fairly healthy. But look at here, we have 2 tablespoons that the calories are going for 180 and the protein is 7 grams. So by the time that we mix in enough to create some kind of dip or sauce, that number is really going to get kind of out of control. So what we want to do is we're going to be replacing our peanut butter with peanut butter powder, because as you can see, for the same amount of servings, the calories are only going to be 60. We're going to get about the same amount of protein, which is 6 grams. The carbs and the powder is 5 grams. The carbs in the regular is going for 8 grams. So basically, with this peanut butter being 180 calories, we can almost use 3 times as much using the peanut butter powder just to get the same nutrient numbers as displayed here in the peanut butter. So we're going to be using this peanut butter powder to make our Thai peanut sauce. So let's get measuring. So once again, I'm making a very small batch, and I am going to give kind of like precise measurements here, and then you can increase it based on the amount of that you need. I usually will use this if, you know, my daughter really likes Thai food, or if you're wanting to make a dip, or if you're going to put it over some kind of noodle. Whatever the case is, you just always want to think, how can I add more protein into this meal? So that's always my train of thought. So we're going to first start off with 3 tablespoons. I'm just rounding this out. 3 tablespoons of peanut butter powder. And I always keep a little scoop inside of the peanut butter powder. This is, I think, gosh, if I'm not mistaken, this is like a fourth of a cup that I always just keep in there, just for measuring sake anyway. Next, we're going to use 1 tablespoon of the soy sauce. We're going to be using 2 teaspoons of this rice vinegar. I'm just going to do a dash of ginger. It's supposed to be about 1/4 of a teaspoon of ginger. And then however many sesame seeds that you want, about 1/2 a teaspoon there. And I'm going to be using red pepper flakes, just a dash of that. And then I'm going to stir this up first. And then I'm going to go and add in maybe about 2 to 3 tablespoons of water. I think it's coming around. It's looking like some real deal peanut sauce, some Thai peanut sauce. Look at that. Now see, sometimes we think that, oh, I gotta go and buy something off the shelf when you already have the ingredients sitting right in your pantry, and you can make it healthier and cheaper. Now you may say, well, I can't make it any cheaper, but yes, you can, because you're cutting down on waste. If this is all that I need to go over my noodles, or if this is all I'm going to eat to dip in apples or vegetables, you're making it in small batches. So that's ultimately saving money, as opposed to buying a bottle of peanut sauce and then you don't eat it all by the expiration. Then you end up tossing it out. Well, that's it for dip number 2, Thai peanut sauce. Get into it. Look at it. So what do you think of the Thai peanut sauce? Now, I made mine more like a dip. You can see it's kind of thick. It's just going to have this carrot with it. But if you were really going to be making peanut sauce to put over some noodles or some chicken, then of course you would take that recipe and just add more water and then simmer it, with your chicken or with your noodles. But it is very flavorful. Tastes exactly like the Thai peanut sauce that you may get in a restaurant. And like I said, you can see the little seeds in there. I mean, these are easy peasy little recipes. Instead of, I cannot stress enough that you don't have to go out and buy all those store-bought dressings and jams and sauces and things of that nature, because 1, they do have a lot of sodium and sugar. 2, they have a lot of unnecessary oils. And 3, it can be wasteful, because if you're buying that big bottle and you don't eat it regularly, then like I said, it's going to expire and you're going to end up throwing it out and waste money. So why not just make small batches? So that's it for the peanut sauce. Drop me a comment below and let me know if you're going to be making either the ranch dip or the peanut sauce. Because honey, what I got coming up next, it's going to blow your mind how simple it is, but it is going to be so good. So moving on to number 3. Looking at these ingredients, I know you're probably wondering, okay, Belinda, what are we making? Well, I'm going to tell you in a second. But right here, we just have a combination of fresh and frozen berries, about a cup of strawberries and wild blueberries. These are so sweet. So I'm not going to be needing any extra sugar. I know some of you are still, you're still addicted to sugar. So If you do need a sugar, get a low-calorie sweetener or use some real maple syrup, just a tad if you need it. We have some chia seeds. We already know what chia seeds does. It does provide us with additional protein. It also is great in fiber and it absorbs liquid. So keep that in mind. We have strawberries and chia seeds. So what do you think we're going to be making? And then we have this IsoPure clear protein. Now, if you've never seen clear protein, then, well, here it is. What a clear protein does or is very similar to like a Crystal Light kind of pack that you would put in water, but it's got 20 grams of protein. This comes in a lot of flavors. What I have on hand is tropical punch, but it also comes in like mixed berry, watermelon, pineapple orange, mango lime, pink lemonade, and so much more. So if you're really struggling to try and get in your water, or if you don't like plain water, then definitely check out some clear protein, and I'll put a link in the description box and you can check it out there. But we're going to be using it, and this is what we're going to be making. We're going to be making some strawberry blueberry jam. Yes, jam to go on your toasts and your bagels and all of that. Hey, maybe even a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So let's just get it cracking. So the first thing that we have to do is we just have to boil down the fruits. And that's it. We just have to mash them down, let them boil, get really soft. And if you want chunky, like preserves, then you won't, mash them down too much. But if you do want more like of a spread, then you're going to have to make sure that you mash them down once they boil down. So I also have this little, masher here that after it boils down, I'll just go in and mash. Let me make a correction. I'm not necessarily boiling. I'm just kind of simmering because it doesn't necessarily need to boil. It just needs to simmer so that the fruit gets softened, and then I can mash it even further like I'm doing right here. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I'm now getting ready to add in my chia seeds. Now, I'm making a small batch because, of course, this is fresh and is only going to be good for probably about a week or so because it doesn't have any additional pectins and preservatives and all of that. So that's what really gives food their shelf life. But since we're making it fresh, that's why I recommend making small batches. And because we aren't adding a lot of sugars and pectins, that is why we're adding the chia seeds, because what they do is they help to thicken the jam. But we're going to be using these chia seeds, and I'm only starting off with 1 tablespoon. And then I'm just going to let this continue to simmer for about another minute or two, and then we have to let it cool before we can put in the protein powder. Now, if you were going to add some kind of other sweetener or maple syrup, and I may taste this and see if I feel like, oh, it needs a little bit more sweetness, I may add, a teaspoon of maple syrup. But you see here with the chia seeds in it, you see how it's already starting to thicken up. So I'm going to let that simmer for about a minute. And then, with this kind of stove here, I can probably just go ahead and turn it off and it'll still simmer for another minute or so. If you feel like 1 teaspoon or tablespoon of chia seeds was not enough for your batch, then you can always add a little bit more. Now keep in mind, once this goes in the fridge and stay overnight, then the chia seeds are going to start to do their job, which is absorb the berries to make it a little thicker. So you may want to just hold off on adding more chia seeds here. And if you add a lot more chia seeds at the beginning and then find that it's too thick, then after it sits in the refrigerator, then you can just add maybe a little lemon juice to kind of loosen it up. But I'm going to let this sit and cool, and then we'll come back and put the protein powder in. Okay, it's still kind of warm, but it's cool enough. And you can see, like I said before, it is starting to thicken up. So I'm just going to go ahead and add this clear protein powder. It does come with its own scooper. So I'm just going to do 1 scoop of it. And no, you cannot use like regular protein powder because it's going to make it too thick. If you want, you can also add a little bit more water. But as you see, as you stir it up, it is going to, dissipate in with no problem. And then I'm just going to transfer this after I stir it into this glass container. I can't find my glass jar. And we're just going to let it sit overnight and let the chia seeds do what they do. So this is number 3 of the, what are we calling this? The jams, dips, and salsas. I mean, like, look at that. High fiber, high protein jam. Who would have thunk it? Yes, ma'am. We taking it back to Grandma and them days, honey, where they was making that homemade jam. Now, the younger generation, y'all don't want to make no jam. Just want to go to the store. But now, look at you. You can make your own homemade jam. Now, this is a jam that I have in the refrigerator. My daughter really likes it, but let me just read you this. It has 13 added sugars. 13 added sugars in this organic raspberry preserves. Just because something says organic does not mean it is sugar-free. But whenever I can make my own, look at that. You see that? Look at that. Look at it. I mean, the chia seeds did what they need to do overnight. And you see, it's thick, just like regular jam. And guess what? I'm going to put it on a little piece of toast. Now, you see me eating this bread and you may be saying, oh, I thought you had gluten sensitivities. I do. But if you're new to gluten sensitivities, and like say it came on with the perimenopause like mine did, through trial and error and a lot of research, I found out that sourdough bread is a better choice. And like I mentioned earlier, in small amounts, because the fermenting process for sourdough bread, it actually breaks down a lot of the gluten. So if you eat it occasionally, then you're not going to get swollen up like I did before. But look at that. If that ain't some good jam, honey, y'all better get this jam and make it. Now, the one thing I do want to say, whenever you're making your own homemade jam, if you don't have a good quality strawberry or wild blueberry or something like that, if your fruit that you bought from whatever grocery store, if it tastes like water, then it's going to taste like just like water jam. This jam tastes so good to me, and even my daughter tasted it, and she's picky, because the fruit was so sweet. And I didn't add any additional sugars. Of course, you could add a little bit of maple syrup or some low-calorie sweetener. You don't have to use the clear protein like I did if you don't want extra protein in it. The chia seeds already has fiber and protein. Another alternative would be to add in some collagen, like during the time when I stirred in the clear protein, you could stir in your collagen, and that's going to be great for your bone health, and also add additional protein. So I know somebody out there going to be making this right now. That's all you need, like I said, chia seeds and berries. So drop me another comment. Let me know who making the jam. Well, I finish eating this. Let's move on to number 4. These are my favorite chips in the whole wide world. This is why probably I cannot get rid of my little back fat that's just hanging on for dear life, because I eat these. I don't eat them. I don't overeat them, but if I probably cut this out with a few other things, then hey, it would fall off. But I don't care. I am living my life. As long as I don't look pregnant, I'm good. So these are my favorite corn tortilla chips that I get from Aldi. They're gluten-free for those of you ladies out there who are gluten-free looking for a good chip at a decent price. When I say decent, honey, these things are like less than $2 at my Aldi for this big bag. But whenever you have these corn chips, look at that. What is that? Guac. Well, I don't have any guac, but guess what? We're going to make some, and we're going to make some, and it's going to be very high protein. I have this ripe avocado. I have a lime. I do have some salsa. I have a taco seasoning pack that, as you can see, that I have been dipping in. One thing, I know this is a side note, but one thing that I use these taco seasonings mix for, and I don't really make like regular tacos, is I will add taco seasonings to tuna and make a tuna taco salad, or a tuna taco in an egg wrap. But these should also be a staple in your house if you are on a fat loss journey and you're always craving tacos. And then the star of the show, we hadn't even talked about you too much today, but we have some cottage cheese. So I'm just going to make a little bit of dip for my chip. So first up is the avocado, and this one is really ripe. So that's going to be very good. So once again, making a small batch. That was a half of avocado, and this is a 1/4 of a cup of the cottage cheese. Gonna do 2 hefty tablespoons of the salsa, a little squeeze of my lime, and the taco season. Now, if you don't have salsa, you can definitely just, chop up a few tomatoes, open a can of tomatoes, whatever you have on hand. And this is going to be it. So let's just give it a whirl. And here is the dip. Here's the dip. Now, if you want it greener, then you could put the whole avocado. But like I said, this is a 1 to 2 servings. And I'm sure it tastes delicious. Ooh, I can't wait to have some with my chips. I'm really getting to the point of whether or not it's going to be a decision between these chips and this little piece of back fat back here. Which do I love more? These chips are so good. But that is my guac taco dip. Now, it's not green because I only use a half avocado. But the whole purpose of anything that I make and share with you on this channel is to inspire you to go out and make the foods that you love. So many times we're always looking for a particular meal plan, or we want to, lose our body fat, lose weight based off of someone else's body composition and what they're eating and what they're doing. In the comments, someone asked me, well, how many calories do I eat? And so forth and so on. It doesn't matter how many I eat. It's all about what you eat. And that's what I want to share with anyone that's watching this channel, is that your fat loss journey is your fat loss journey. And if you need some help getting started, if you're new to a fat loss journey, then in the description box, I do have a free guide called the Fat Loss Quick Start Guide. You can download it for free and just kind of go through the 5-step process and create your own journey. But most importantly, it's about making a difference at every bite. So even though I love these chips, I'm eating more protein by creating my own dip. So that's what it's all about. So I'm not going to eat too much more of this. So on to number 5. So you have a taste for some Italiano pesto sauce, but you looked in the fridge and you're all out. But lucky for me, I do have just a little bit left. But if I wanted to make some from scratch, let me show you what we're going to need. So what we're going to need is our favorite friend, our cottage cheese. I do have some Parmesan cheese. You can have fresh basil. If you don't have fresh basil, then you might have what I have is this stir-in paste. I usually keep this around more so than fresh basil, and I get this from Aldi. You're going to need some garlic. You can either use minced garlic or just garlic powder. If that's all you have, that'll work. I do have some extra virgin olive oil. So whatever your olive oil is, we're just going to need a small amount because once again, we're making small batches. I have some milk, this lactate protein milk. And if you didn't know, there are cashews in pesto. So these are our ingredients. We're just going to make our way back over to the small food processor and make us some pesto sauce. We have a fourth of cottage cheese. I'm going to use about a tablespoon of this Parmesan cheese. And if you have freshly grated, then that's fine, but I don't have that. So this is what I'm using. We have a teaspoon of olive oil. Then I'm just going to do about a half a teaspoon of minced garlic, or like I said, you could use your garlic powder. I have a little squirt here of my basil. I have just a few cashews I'm going to grind up in there. And I'm going to start off with 2 teaspoons of milk. And let's give it a grind. So of course, the more basil I would have had, the greener the pesto. But there she is. I think I'm going to put it on some chicken tonight. Well, that's it for my 5 jams, dips, and sauces, or whatever I'm calling this video. I'm sure you'll see the title whenever I do post it, but I just wanted to say if you found this video to be informative or entertaining, then definitely consider subscribing, liking, and sharing it with a family member or another friend who may be on a perimenopausal journey and just feeling a little hopeless and need a little guidance, need a little recipe, need a little entertainment on how they're going to get rid of that excess body fat. And here, before I leave you, I just want to say, stop worrying about how long it takes to get rid of the body fat. It's going to take however long it takes, honey. As long as you're alive, you can still keep trying day after day, bite after bite. So that's my advice, and stay tuned to the channel. In the coming weeks, I will have a really big announcement that I think that you are going to want to be a part of. But until next video, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.